Hey ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for checking out the channel. If this is your first time, please do hit that like and subscribe and ring that bell to turn on notifications, and let's just jump right into it. So right now Fortnite is probably at its most controversial state, and wow, a lot of people, if you go down the Twitter, on every single post, Epic is making a revert. Now I'm pretty sure the developers don't probably, run the Twitter and the other social media, but boy, if they're not probably hearing about the stuff that people are saying and how upset they are. But that's only just one part of the current state of Fortnite that I'm going to talk about. I mean, there's other things around the World Cup. The World Cup is literally around the corner for qualifiers and all the other good things that are going to come with it, like, a $30 million prize pool. That is ridiculous. It is probably the largest esports prize pool in history, and Epic is doing this for its first ever World Cup. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure all the streamers who are bitching and complaining and they've removed stretch phase, they've done this, they've done that, they're gonna stick around for the money. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. There is not a single other game right now in the competitive esports environment, or even in gaming, that can give you probably the amount of money and wealth as a prize pool that Fortnite is offering. We only have to look back at the other tournaments that they've ran when they were giving a couple of million. I say like that's nothing, but these were life-changing amounts of money as first prize pools, and then now they've completely gone above and beyond that amount. So what I'm saying is that these pros, they're bitching that, oh, we can't compete because of blah 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 and this, that, the other, and people are only making these changes because of the console players. Look, as a person who plays on console, and enjoys trying to just plug and play my gaming experiences, and not going through all the troubleshooting issues. I mean, you only need to look at some of the people's videos where NARMAK is playing with his duo partner, that he's doing the arenas, World Cup warm-ups with Neo Roosh, and Neo had a crash in the middle of the game, an Epic Games crash on his PC, and he had to leave Nick by himself in the final couple of circles, when there's 50 people trying to kill each other and move around. And again, that's another thing that's currently annoying the people about Fortnite, is that they're waiting till the final end circles where there's a huge ridiculous amount of people that are trying to move around, rotate, build. Sometimes people can't build, sometimes people can't shoot. I've literally seen a video of Tfue just recently where he's chucked a boogie bomb. He's got 20 people, okay, that's an exaggeration, but it was at least 10 out of their ballers using a boogie bomb, and then he goes up to them with a shotgun and he can't shoot. You cannot shoot. Now that's PC people that are playing on devices that are uncapped to 700 frames per second, or capped to 240, 144, etc., and they can't do that. So that's definitely an issue, but that's more of a pro issue than a normal issue, but it's an issue nonetheless that people might run into when they see the World Cup. Qualifiers going on for some people that are streaming it. It's going to be very, very tough. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think the top players are probably going to be streaming. They're going to want every single advantage that they can. They don't want to get stream sniped or something, so they're going to be doing everything they can. And that brings me back to stretched resolution and why I'm personally glad Epic banned it. And the reason for that is because I think it sucks in the way that it looks. It's genuinely one of the most awful looking of resolutions when it's stretched out. It doesn't look as good as the 1080p sort of resolution, 1920 by 1080p, but it's also giving these pro players a competitive advantage. Now you only need to look at any of the videos out there, like, oh yo, it's so good, you get to see this, you get to see that. It was a form of unfair competitive advantage. When I say unfair, what I'm saying is that these people were able to see 2 feet above anybody else. Now if you were playing on console, you know, NARMAK probably put it best, there's probably not going to be a single player that qualifies on a console for the World Cup, and the reason for that is basically because of the performance difference between consoles and PC. And you know, whilst I appreciate that, let's not forget that the patch 8.20 removed the siphon. So if you're playing in, you know, arena against these guys who are not only going to be having siphon on there, but they're also going to be having the stretch res, so they can have a further competitive advantage. It makes it even more difficult the higher up you get in the divisions, and I think that's something that's, you know, very good for Epic to have addressed. But again, you know, the changes that Epic's made in 8.20 with the, you know, siphon removal, you know, putting the match back to 3,999 per, you know, material type, it's made the game slow again. It's like, you know, when everybody first started out in season 1 to 3 or 4, you know, everybody was still learning about the game. Everybody was still finding their feet with building. They were finding the strategies. They were finding out how to, you know, go about just navigating the game, you know. And then we had the pros, you know, obviously leading the charge. They were the first people to adopt all the strategies. They were able to do the building, you know, and slowly over time, the general, you know, an average player, he caught up, or she caught up as well. You know, they caught up, and it was like they'd complain that, oh, we can't go for these high kill games anymore, and you know. Then you had different tactics coming from the average player as well. People would third party a lot. They'd see the pros doing it. You know, the pros would go up against, you know, level players that weren't very good maybe, and they'd, you know, third party them, and they'd pick up about 3-4 kills here and there just because of their technical skills being better. But since people have got better at Fortnite, third partying became a lot more difficult because people would respond, but you could still third party. Now what the siphon change, in my opinion, helped was people that were coming to third party, if you'd already wrapped your fight up, they were going to have a very difficult time of taking you out compared to before, because in your, you know, place you would have actually earned shields, health, you would have been able to get out of there. It's just ridiculous to think that people have somehow managed to convince themselves that it's a good thing when you can't find any shields, you know, any heals or anything like that, and you've just literally come out of a fight. Even if you survive a third party, it's going to be very difficult. So that's one of the reasons a lot of people, even in the dedicated community, are a bit upset, you know, and they're like, okay, well, even if you weren't gonna be, you know, taking into account that the siphons coming back, why didn't you leave the faster material farming in? Because it still made games a little bit quicker. If people could get materials quicker and go into fights, there's a little bit more of an incentive for certain players, you know, to just get going a little bit earlier rather than farm for 10 years, you know, just to get some materials. And you know, looking back into it, I've heard a lot of people say how, oh, you know, Fortnite's gonna die because the pros aren't happy and they've got a large following. Yeah, they have got a large following, but to say that it's gonna die because the pros are gonna leave, the pros aren't leaving anywhere soon. The pros are gonna have to do what they need to do to, you know, complain to Epic, raise it with Epic, tell Epic, look, you know, this isn't what we're currently looking for in our games. We need you to, you know, sort this out. This is why we want these things, you know, at the moment there isn't even a squad mode in a arena format, so I can't even play with the people I want to play with. And even if I play with them, you know, I'm gonna be perfectly frank, I could be racking up loads of points with different players, and then for whatever reason the player that I play with is forced to play in a higher division that they, you know, might be used to. The competition is there. It's not as fun for casual players. So in my opinion, I think Epic really need to realize that, you know, when you've been out for a year and you've been so successful in the genre, you know, so many people are playing your game, you need to realize that the millions and millions of dedicated players that are here to stay, you know, are better for you to keep happy than to try and chase a small amount of new players. At the end of the day, you know, these other players that you want to attract are going to be casuals, and they should stick to like team rumbles to do their challenges. They're not the type of people that, you know, should be probably looking to become amazing or even at the average level of what Fortnite's players are currently like in their building, shooting and so on, unless they invest a little time. And look, you've given the tools in the game. If people aren't going into creatives, they're not practicing in rumbles, you know, that aren't ranked, the modes don't count, then people seriously need to think, well, okay, you know, what am I really playing this game for? Am I playing the game to be competitive? If I am, you know, do I care when I die and don't respawn, or, you know, things like that? Because Rumble's perfect for people that are casuals, and, you know, people just want to have, oh, a quick drop in and a drop out and do their challenges. Because I think one of the biggest problems people have right now with Fortnite is that the skill gap of the most, you know, kind of casual gamers that play regularly is so much that they can't really handle competing with even them. So a casual player, you know, who's got their, you know, ability to build and so on and so forth, is gonna wreck a person who's just started the game. I mean, that's fact. You know, it's like you stepping into Formula 1, you know, after you've been a go-karting champion. You know, you might not suddenly win your first race against Lewis Hamilton and pick up a championship. It's just probably not gonna happen. You know, on average, you need to realize that the player base that made you successful is still here. They want to play your game, but you're alienating them. And, you know, again, like I said, with the pros and the stretch res, the idea is that you need to get them into the mentality that, look, everybody needs to be on a level, fair playing field, and not just, you know, what you guys want so you can get an advantage when there's millions of dollars on the line. Well, you know, that's my take on it. I'd love to hear what you think. You know, like I said, you know, check me out on Twitch at times. I'll be there, and thank you for watching.